Welcome, you guys, to growing your brand. This is something that I am very, very passionate about. Branding and social selling and just the online community and connection is how I have built my entire business. It's something that there's not a one size fits all. We all do it a little bit different. We all look a little bit different. We all use platforms differently. But there is several key areas that are going to um, really be important and prioritize across the board for each of us. So whether you are brand new to sharing or whether you've been sharing for years and years, each one of us already have a brand. Every single one of us. Now, it might not be the brand that you necessarily want, and it might be an unintentional brand, but every single one of us already has a brand. So now it's our chance to really look at how we are showing up on social media, how we are branding ourselves, and how we can maybe improve in order to build the business that we want. So a brand is simply who you truly are, okay? I will tell you that I have watched a lot of people in a lot of different companies, and each of them kind of have a different spin on how they do things. But I will tell you the most important and empowering part of this is that it's already inside you. You are your brand. It's already inside you. It's not something that, there's something that you're missing that they have. The people who are successful at capitalizing on their brand are the people that have intentionally chosen to focus on how they're showing up and what kind of content they're putting out. So this is all about you, who you are created to be, and showing up consistently in that way. So I don't want you looking at my account, my Instagram, or somebody else, maybe your upline, or maybe a Jewel or another person in network marketing that's just crushing it, and compare yourself and jump ship to what they're doing, because I will tell you it's not going to work. What I do may not work for you. And what your upline is doing may not work for you. What you're doing may not work for me. And that's the beauty of this, is that it is about who you are, okay? So that is the fun and empowering thing. I want you to be empowered to know that it's already inside you. We just have to kind of do a few things to kind of pull it out and strategize a little bit. So first, before you even can move forward in that, it's about knowing who you are. And I put in a couple different personality tests. I'm a I love psychology. Like, I could do every single personality test out there. My degree is in psychology. I love it. And the reason why is because there is no one personality that makes it to the top. When on the Jewels page, they ask, what is your Enneagram number? Or what are your strengths? Or what color personality are you? It is literally across the board. And that is super fun and super empowering, because anyone can be successful. It's not for one small group. So Strength Finders is probably one of my favorites. These are all personality tests that you can Google. You can get on Pinterest, and there's a wealth of information. StrengthsFinder actually has a book. You take a test, and it kind of shows you what your top strengths are. I did it recently, and it's fascinating. In the last 5 years, I took one early on when I was in Plexus, when I felt like I had no strengths whatsoever. And I did one just this past year, and my strengths actually have grown and evolved. But it was very, very fascinating. My number one strength is strategy. Being able to see where to put my effort, where to put my time, and really strategically focus, which is fascinating because I never would have really connected those two. And the Enneagram, if you've not done the Enneagram, this is huge for not only knowing yourself, knowing the way that you communicate, knowing the way that you interact with your team, but also knowing how others receive. It has been a game changer for me in my marriage, in my family, in my team, understanding how my leaders work and understanding why I get triggered at certain things and why I excel at certain things. So the Enneagram, the Strength Finder and the Enneagram are two of my hands down favorite. If you have not looked into those, I would encourage you. It's kind of like following a rabbit trail. They're both fantastic. Then there's, of course, like the Myers-Briggs, love languages, color personalities. There's a lot. But I want you, if you've not done this lately or if you've never done it, really kind of start leaning into who you are. And the reason that's important in branding is because who you are, the whole purpose of this is showing up authentically, showing up of who you were created to be. And we can't really do that if we don't really know what our strengths are, why we show up the way we do. So that's just kind of put that out there for you guys. I think it's really important. Okay, so this is where it gets really fun. Living your passions out loud. There is something about branding that it's a little bit scary when you start thinking, okay, I don't even know what I'm passionate about maybe. Or maybe maybe there's some things in there that you really love, but you have not started creating content or putting it out there on social media. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. Yes, you are building an online business, okay? But that is not all who you are. And in fact, I will say that is the very, very, very small part of who you are. I want you to focus on this. I want you to focus on the things that you love, who you are, the things that, if you could do anything, if you, money aside, time aside, coronavirus aside, if you could travel, if you could do anything, what are those things that you love? Things that you would do for free, things that you would do regardless. Those are your passions, okay? And so what I want you to see is with your branding, it's not to attract everyone. You are not here to please everyone. You are not here to connect with everyone. You are not here to sell your products to everyone, okay? You have passions solely so that you can connect with other people. So attracting the right kind of people is imperative. Think about it, like you're attracting people, okay, to a business that you're gonna work with the rest of your life. Like you're gonna wanna attract people that resonate with you. You are going to want to, these are people that you're gonna wanna work with and do life with the rest of your career. So as you're sharing content, think about who this is attracting. Because I know very well, there's like criteria of who I want to attract, okay? I know full well the people that I want to work with, the people that I want as friends, the people that I want as my family in this business. So this is really where you start niching down, okay? Niching down means like you've got all of your Facebook friends, your Instagram friends. Okay, that's a lot, but I want you to start speaking to a very small, very select group of people. Niching down so that your message clearly resonates with a certain group, okay? So on here, like, there's a photo of like, of cooking. If you love cooking, you are passionate about that, and that is something you need to capitalize on. You need to share your recipes. You need to share, go live and talk about like what you're cooking for dinner, because you guys, that is huge for building your network, okay? Maybe you love to travel. Maybe you love to work out. Whatever that is, think about how you can share your passions. I usually suggest picking 3, maybe 5 passions, things that you love. And like everything that you're going to post on is going to be about those areas, okay? And so getting into Facebook groups around these areas. If you love to travel, go and find a Facebook group that isn't huge, not like 10,000 people, but it's not small, like 100 people. You want something kind of in the middle, and you want to begin building connection and community with those people in there. Start asking questions, start commenting, because that is where you're going to add value. And then you're going to build authentic connections with people who share the same passions, so that when they become friends of yours, you guys, they're going to see that content on your newsfeed. Okay, so using this, I usually suggest 3 to 5 real niches of things, passions. If you don't have that, spend some time today just going down on a piece of paper, writing down some of the things that you're naturally drawn to. For me, it is adoption. Adoption is a huge part of that, whether that's adopting families or post-adoption that we're living in. Special needs is a big thing for me. Things like that, large family. Those are my niches, and those are the things that I talk about. Those are the things that I'm passionate about, and those are the people that I also naturally connect with. So niching down is super, super important. This is where you get into, what does that mean for your business? It is all about creating your ideal client. Okay, remember, we're talking about bringing people in that are going to authentically be a part of your life. Okay, this isn't just a business transaction. What we do in network marketing is truly bringing people into a family, and we are working with them. We are doing life with them. So who is it? You get to create your ideal client. You get to create what your team culture is going to look like. So as you're kind of looking at, okay, who is my ideal client? Who am I talking to? Sometimes it's important or helpful to think of one specific person, okay? Sometimes it's the person you were at the start of your Plexus journey. Maybe you're talking to your best friend. Maybe there's somebody in your journey that you're like, that's the type of person that I want to connect with. Okay, think about your ideal client. For me, I've identified one specific person that I'm like, oh, man, every time I post, I think about, would this connect to her? Would this reach her? I think about me 5 years ago before my Plexus journey. Would this have reached me? Because the thing is, that's who you want to connect. You want to connect with people that are like you, because they are going to hear, they're going to listen to you. For me, that means that I am reaching middle-aged women, which is kind of funny to say, because I'm like, oh, I'm almost 40. It is getting there, but I'm not creating content for millennials. I'm not focused, that's not who I'm trying to reach, because my message would probably fall flat to most of them, right? My message is going to reach moms who are exhausted and burnt out and struggling. That's who I am going to connect with. So when you look at who is your ideal client, who are they? What do they want? What are their passions? What are they doing? Like what is your ideal client doing right now? What do they need? What is the thing that keeps them up at night? Now, I know that this is kind of funny to think through, but this is where you build your content for this person. And when you have niched down, you have figured out who you're speaking to, instead of being like this, you've got your microphone and you're trying to like speak to the entire world, you guys, your message will fall flat on everyone. But if you get your megaphone out and you are speaking to someone specifically, your message will resonate with all of those people. Okay, so this is really, really important. Think about, what keeps them up at night. What is their pain points? What are they struggling with? Where are they? Especially with coronavirus, with everything that we're walking through right now, with moms virtual schooling, losing their mind like I am, what are they doing? And how can you connect and reach them? Where do they want to be? That's huge. Where do they want to be? So you see where they are now, where they want to be, and the gap. This is where you come in, okay? This is where you can help them. So this is a huge exercise for you to do. I do have on the team page, I'll put in the file section, an actual worksheet that you can work through to find your ideal client. It's probably been one of the most helpful exercises I've ever done in my Plexus business, because I figured out, and I'm not speaking to everyone, I'm speaking to one type of person. So I will get that to you, that file. Okay, this is where I get really excited, because this is where the heart comes in. Okay, so you know who you are, you know your passions, you know who you are speaking to. And now this is the fun part where you have a lot of freedom to kind of figure out, okay, how do we move? How do we connect these people? So this is the know, like, and trust factor. Every single thing that you do is about your audience, knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, okay? So every piece of content that you create, every word that you post, whether it has to do with your business or not, in fact, most of it has to do with your personal life, is whether they know you more. Does this post make them like you more? Or does this post make them trust you more? Okay, so knowing, I've got some notes down here, so you'll see me looking down. Knowing. So knowing is really, it's the basics, right? It's knowing where you live. For me, I'm like the Pacific Northwest. I do talk about that a lot. I think that's, for me, that's kind of something that I'm very proud of, and it's kind of a part where people know that's where I live. Kids' names, maybe your hometown or the college you went to. Maybe you're one of those people that is like a diehard fan of your college. Like things like that really it makes people know you in a personal way, even if they don't actually know you, okay? Your routine, your kids' names. It can go, for me, one of the things is my van. People know me. I was one time, this is really funny. I was one time getting gas at Costco, and I had a lady come up and knock on my window, and she's like, "Are you Cassie Rainey?" And I was like, "Yes." She was like, "I saw your van, and I've always wanted to meet you." She was some person I had never met, but she was on Facebook. And somehow, I guess, she knew who I was, but it was the van, it makes me laugh, but it was my big 15-passenger van. So it's things like that of connecting. Who are you? What are the things? A lot of times it's repetition. I have a good friend who, she has this big, huge, beautiful blue clock that she posts in the majority of her photos. If you go down in her newsfeed, you always see it as in the back. It's kind of like a supporting actor in a role, it's always back there. But people know that about her. So when they're scrolling through and they see that, they're like, oh, a sweet girl on Instagram who's an influencer, and she teaches a lot about all of this. In fact, if you're not following her, I would suggest you do. It's her Instagram name is Suzy, Simply Suzy's, and it's Suzzys. And she actually, I went to one of her retreats where we talk about all of this, and her whole thing is McDonald's. She goes through the McDonald's drive-through probably 4 to 5 times a week and just gets a Diet Coke. And that has become her thing. She has created her entire brand on McDonald's. It's Like, so it could be funny things like that. It can be your pink drink, you know, it can be things like that. It can be your dog. Um, I know for a long time I did a letterboard, and a letterboard, even though it changed different things, my letterboard was like the thing that people knew. So there's lots of things. Peloton bikes, a lot of people do that. You just think about what are the things that you do a lot? What's in your routine, and capitalizing on that as a way to create people know you. They feel like they know you. And I'll tell you, like on Instagram, on Facebook, you're going to have eventually hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people you don't know at all, but they all pretty much feel like they're your best friend, right? Like they think that they know you, and it's because you're showing up consistently with these small things. So if you don't have anything that shows up in your photos consistently, I would suggest that. Like I said, it could be a college sweatshirt. It could be, you know, your car, your something in your kitchen. Think about something like that. Something on your mantle. Some things that are going to make people think, I know you. Like, I feel like I've sat in your living room. I feel like I have had dinner with you. Like that. So it's just kind of that knowability, okay? The second part is like. We want people to like us. Now, this isn't a popularity contest whatsoever. Knowing that on social media, there's going to be a lot of voices and a lot of opinions. You're not living for that, okay? You are not showing up just for people to like you, okay? That's not what social media is about. That's not what branding is about. But in order to move someone from a follower to a fan and eventually to a customer and someone in your business, they have to like you, right? And since we're niched down, we know who we're talking to. Remember, you don't want the whole world. The whole world doesn't have to like you. But your customers, who they are, we want them to like us, okay? So we're all about conversion here, okay? Small bites of your story. So when I first got onto social media, I had this big like block because yes, I want people to like me, and know me, but what does that mean as far as showing up? Does that mean I have to tell my whole life story? Does that mean like I have to bear everything to them? Not at all, okay? Vulnerability is so important, but vulnerability doesn't mean disclosing everything. It means showing up in the parts of your life and your story that you personally want to put out there on the public space, that you are showing up as a person that is positive. You know, nobody is going to join your team if you are literally like always down and always negative and always controversial. Nobody wants to join anything like that. People want to join people who have an energy that is positive and kind and joyful. Doesn't mean that there are not parts of your story that are hard and that you share about. What this means is truly sharing in a way that is going to attract people. That's what it means. I mean, people's energy, the way that you show up, is going to either attract people or repel people. And that's just psychology, right? It's just the way it works. And so if you are someone who is showing up with joy and excitement and sharing your opportunity and your products with joy and belief, people are going to like totally buy into that. So this is about people liking you, okay? Just that's like kind of common sense. But in this day and age, it's maybe not common sense because people are not showing up very often in a way that's likable lately. So I want you to be above reproach on social media. Doesn't mean that you don't share things that that can be controversial, but showing things in a way that's not going to repel people, okay? And the last part of this is trust, okay? This is the most important part, is trust. Do these people trust you? Do they trust your heart in why you're sharing these products? Do they trust that you really believe in these products, or are you just trying to make a buck? That goes a long way. And I will tell you, we can all see straight through, messages. We can see straight through, post. We know whether someone is trustworthy or not. And so I want you to really focus on this. Is what you're saying, the claims that you're making, the posts that the information that you're sharing, is it trustworthy? And the best way to actually show that it is trustworthy is by doing social proof. And social proof is basically, when you get a new ambassador or customer and say, in the first week, they have more energy. And screenshotting, you of course hide their name or their picture for privacy, but screenshotting their results and sharing that on your stories, because that is social proof that what you are saying is actually happening. So it's not just, you're not the expert. It's not that these products have only worked for you. It's social proof that you have had people join you. I love when I see people on the team screenshot their email that says, congratulations, you got a new ambassador. You guys, that's massive social proof, because when you put that in your stories, people are like, oh, well, she had somebody join them, so somebody believes them, right? Social proof is key. So you are not the only one that believes that these products work. You're not the only one having results. So trusting you, this is a really, really key part of conversion, is that people need to see that you got paid, real money. Now, we can't put out the number, of what our paycheck is, just cover that up. But people need to see that you're actually getting real money. It's not just monopoly money. So you can share what your paycheck paid for that month. That's I remember one time I was early on, and this jewel couple said, hey, if you want to see our earnings of our last year, we'll send you our 1099. We'll send you a screenshot of it. And anybody could comment and anybody could get it. And I was like, oh, you better believe I want to see what 2 diamonds make. And when I saw that, you guys, my belief went through the roof, because I was like, well, this is real. This is real. And it made me work that much harder. So things like that. How can you build trust into your audience? Okay. Rank ups, always sharing rank ups, sharing that you earned leaders retreat, sharing that someone on your team earned leaders retreat. Those things are huge, huge in social proof. Okay, so know, like, and trust. That is everything on social media. Now, social media, your storefront, okay? I want you to really visualize what it would be like, okay, if you're walking down the street and your social media, the things that you've been posting, were plastered up in the window of an actual storefront. This is a way for you. We all need to take analysis of what we're sharing and what we're posting, okay? All of us. We always need to do this, because if this is a hobby for you, great, okay? You can make several $100. You can enjoy this. This can be a way of you serving people. But for most of us, we are in this because we want to grow a business, okay? This opportunity is unreal. And this opportunity is a business, okay? This should be treated just like any other business. So when you think about, in fact, I want you, after you get off this, to go scroll through your news feed on all your social media accounts, whatever those, whatever you're really spending your time on. And look at your bio, look at your photos, look at your most recent post. Take an analysis. This isn't about shaming yourself and feeling terrible. There is always, always room for improvement. And I will tell you, I look back 5 years ago when I started. My posts were terrible. My photos were terrible. My Bio, I don't even know if I had a bio. Like everything was terrible. But slowly by surely, like I've learned, I still have a lot of learning to go because social media is ever changing. Okay. But it is so important for you to take an analysis. Where are you at? Are you attracting your ideal customer? Or are you trying to be general and speak to everyone? Is it working? Okay, that's one thing. Is it working? Is what you're doing working? You want to attract a business builder? Is what you are posting attracting a business builder? You want to attract people who want, who want to order your products. Are you attracting people who maybe make excuses, who maybe have a lot of objections? Maybe you're attracting the wrong kind of people. And you know what? I have seen a lot of people who come in and they maybe have 100 Facebook friends and they're like, well, how am I going to grow a business? Well, you know what? They figured out who they want to attract. They go out and find those people. Okay? These people aren't going to flock to us. They're not going to flock to us. But when you go out and you're purposefully and intentionally connecting with people that are like-minded, your ideal customer, you're posting content that is going to add value to them, it all comes together, okay? So I want you to look at your posts. Are you, silly thing, but like cat videos or, like very controversial things right now? Are you showing, are you dividing your network? Are you posting things that have no value? And I'll tell you, I am as guilty as can be. There are so many times where I'll just throw a picture up and not really have thought through my caption or the wording because I was just in a rush and I needed to get something up, or I copy and pasted someone else's stuff. Now, I will tell you it's okay to copy and paste. There's nothing wrong with it, but what happens is it becomes easy and you end up never creating your own content. And people can see that, okay? So it's okay to share, to copy and paste, especially for new ambassadors who are just like, deer in headlights trying to figure out, they just got their order, they have no idea what they're doing. Totally okay. I'm talking about as you are building a brand, you want to be creating your own content, okay? You want to be speaking your voice, not someone else's. So branding, it says here, branding is what people say about you when you aren't in the room. How do people describe you? I love that because in fact, I think it's actually sometimes helpful to even go to some of your closest friends or your spouse and say, hey, look at my social media. What would you say about it? How does it draw you in? Does it empower you? Is it educational? Does it connect to you? I think always important to do your own self-analysis and then maybe have some close friends or an upline look at your social media and say, okay, is this attracting the right people? And I'll tell you, so many people are like, well, I'm very, very passionate about attracting business builders. The business is my jam. That's what I love. That's what I'm passionate about. I love, love, love our products. And there wouldn't be a business without our products, right? Like our products are life-changing. But for me, my journey, I'm very passionate about sharing the business. And as I'm sharing about the business, I'm attracting business builders, right? If I'm only sharing about the business, people are not going to know necessarily about the products though. So you can't get yourself, I see some people who only post about the products and their network does not even know that there's an opportunity at hand. So it's a both and. Look at what you're sharing about. Is it attracting the type of people that you want for your business? Okay. So your growth. Okay. We've had massive explosive growth. It's been super, super fun to be a part of, but When we have massive growth, that means that our funnel, all those people that were in the funnel have probably joined us already. So it's important to continually put new people in the funnel, okay? Because when you have growth, you then deplete your stores and you need to then fill it back up again. Now, this should be a constant thing for us, okay? If it's not, we're gonna run dry and our business will come to a flat, like plateau, okay? So it's very, very important that this be an ongoing thing for you. Your platform, the things that you're doing, is gonna be branding, planning out your content, not just, oh, I gotta make a Plexus post, let me go find one, you know, actually planning out your content, what you want to say, adding value. You want to engage and add interest and be interesting and be interested in people. You want to convert, and then you want to eventually engage and help them to share Plexus. That's how this whole thing works, okay? So it's drawing someone in. In fact, the next slide will show you a little bit more, but if you want to lead, you have to be the voice that people need to hear. Not the voice you think they want to hear, the voice that they actually need to hear. So as we move into this funnel right here, this is like a marketing 101 funnel. But basically what it is, it's you're creating awareness, you're creating, you're educating. I feel like that's the majority of what my social media posts are, is educating. Why do they need this? What makes Plexus any different than anything else? Or what is gut health? Most people have like no idea why they need a blood sugar balancing drink. People are like, oh, I'm good, I don't have diabetes. They don't understand. So the first step is awareness. You're putting people in your funnel because you're sharing, you're educating, and then like, oh, okay. So it's like these tiny little bits. The next one is consideration, the next level. It's when you're working with, you know, you're connecting, and this might be through Messenger, this might be through face-to-face or a conversation. But basically, this is where you're kind of targeting them a little bit more, talking about like why they should personally be considering Plexus. The next one is where they move into purchasing. You've kind of worked through their objections. And then they move into, you know, the purchase, they get on the products, they become loyal fans, okay? And that's what you want. You want loyal ambassadors, loyal customers who love the products, who are seeing results. But the next and last step that you want them is to turn them in to raving fans, people who, like, they didn't want a business with Plexus, but they have so much fallen in love with the products. They've seen the results. You have given them impeccable customer service all the way through. That's when they turn into people who are raving fans, and they are then sharing, telling everybody they know about these products. And so that's what we want. We want to take someone from the very top, where you're just, you know, kind of coming into their awareness, kind of sharing about these products, moving them down into someone who loves these products and who is sharing and telling. Through this, your customer service, your connection to them is vital, okay? I see so many people get a new ambassador or a new customer and think, okay, the job is done. Like, I can move on now. I gotta go find somebody else. And let me just tell you that the second that you get a new customer or a new ambassador, that is when your job really begins. Hold on 2 seconds. Hey, I need you to take Poppy out. Okay, go play outside. Thank you. Your job begins the minute they sign up. Of course, it begins before that. But you guys, like, you're doing all this work and you will not retain them. You will not keep them as customers if you sign them up and then they never hear from you. Or you check in on them once a month, once every couple months, and you're like, hey, just seeing how you are. You guys, that shows that we were just about the sale, right? We don't care about their results. We were just about the sale. And I want nothing more than people to see that network marketers have hearts that want to serve. They're not in this for the money. They're not in this for the sale. Yes, we are supporting our family and we are building a business, but you guys, this is so, so important. You do not just drop somebody at the purchase, okay? You have the power, once they have said yes, you have the power and the ability to bring them into a place where they are then sharing about it because you've given them the right customer service. Okay, so moving into connection and community. Okay, this is really important because we are not on our social media accounts kind of standing on a pedestal and shouting to everyone underneath us and telling them what to do. That we know best, we have these products, do what we do, and you'll have a great life. Like, that's not what this is about. We don't want an audience. We are not building an audience on our social media, okay? We are building a community, each of us. Now, our community, it's not going to be all Plexus people. It's not going to be people, all your ambassadors, all your customers. What you are after is true, authentic community. You are wanting to show up and add value, because when you are adding value and it's like your social media account is outward and focused on serving and loving other people well, then they are going to turn around and they will buy whatever you're selling. Doesn't matter what you're selling. And I will tell you that it does not matter what you're selling. When you have a community, they will rally around you, okay? They will rally around you and buy whatever. That's how, I mean, like literally, it is all about the power of authentic community. And so that is what I want you focused on, is when you are showing up on your social media. I want you, the first thing that you know, when you're sitting down, how do I show up and add value to these people? How do I show up and build community? You can do this by, the biggest thing is, you know, when people are commenting, actually have a conversation. Never let comments go unresponded to, okay? We are not divas that just, you know, sit around and post things for other people's delight. We are posting things for community and connection. One of the quotes that I came upon once was, be interested, not interesting. That has stuck with me for so long, because I always thought, how do I present myself on social media so that people are like, ooh, I want to see more, or ooh, I want what she has, or ooh, I want to buy whatever, you know, she's doing. Guys, that's not it at all. When I show up and I am others focused and I'm adding value through my post or through my comments, and they know that I am truly focused on them and not making more of myself, that's when true, authentic connection happens. And when that happens, you then have an opportunity to, they trust you, they like you, they know you, you have an opportunity to affect their change, to affect their thinking, and move them from the place that they are to the place that they want to be. But you can't do that unless they know that this is about them, okay? This isn't about us. It's not about a sale. It's not about any of that. It is about you truly knowing what they need and how to get there. And yes, we know what can help them, but if we are making it about us and about the sale, we're not going to get there. We're not going to be able to affect their change. Know that in building community, there is a season of sowing, there's a season of planting, and there's a season of harvesting. What that can look like in network marketing is there's a season of really reaching out, of making posts that are much more pointed at kind of building connections, right? There's a season of being the one who's reaching out. Then there's going to be a season of planting, planting those seeds, watering those seeds. Those are follow-ups. Those are continual connecting with them, okay? Then there's going to be seasons of harvest where, yes, they have bought in and they believe that what you're saying is true. They trust you and they sign up for the products and they follow you. So there are seasons. It's kind of like, I usually, in my business, it's usually a 90-day cycle for me. Every 90 days, I kind of start over again, okay? And that can look different for a lot of you guys, but know that there are seasons. So there may be months where I can sponsor 15 people in 1 month. And then there can be times where it's not that. But it's because I'm doing the hard work of sowing, doing the hard work of planting. But it's a cycle. And if you stay in one cycle too long, then your business is going to die, okay? So know that it's okay to be in different cycles. It's okay to be in different seasons, but always moving forward, always moving forward. Our business is literally in a cycle, okay? Getting new connections, new friendships, new growth in your network, planting the seeds, telling them a little bit about Plexus, they sign up. And then you do it again and again and again. I really believe that the audience versus community thing is huge. Really looking at your community. That's what you're after, okay? Your community. I want you guys to focus on building community, not having an audience, not caring. And I will tell you one thing, it's not about followers at all. So I have a lot of followers on my Instagram, but I have very little engagement. And this is something back in February that I was really analyzing. I may have a lot of followers, but I don't have people that are buying in. They're not community. It's not a community. It's an audience. And in February, I have chosen, like, I really looked at that and I was like, oh man, I'd rather have a community of 1,000 people that are all in with me, who we are a community, than have 10,000 followers who don't buy a thing, who don't care, who don't know me, like me, or trust me. So I want you to really look at like how important it is to build a community, not an audience. Okay, and then let's see. I love this quote. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That is the truth. And like I said, like literally the people that are my community, they'll buy whatever I have to sell. Like honestly, like I literally could like buy, like I could sell whatever I wanted. But I believe in these products and that comes across, okay? Because I believe in them. I know that they work. And I believe in this community. I believe in our company. My belief transfers, okay? But why I do it, why do I share, why do I show up every single day? That is why they're doing it. They're not buying what I'm doing. They're buying why I'm doing it. And so thinking about that is so, so important. Okay, so this is the last thing, storytelling. The greatest tool that you have is your story. It's the greatest tool. Your story is going to change lives. Now, there are ways that we can improve on storytelling, on sharing, but I want you to walk away with this empowered, that you have everything inside you that you need to be successful, okay? Like everything. You have everything there. It's all about doing some tweaks, figuring out how to show up consistently and in a way that is going to move people. But you already have it inside you. Your story is the greatest tool you have, okay? So it doesn't matter what your uplines give you. It doesn't matter if you don't have an upline to give you resources. It doesn't matter what our company gives us, okay? Like, there are no excuses. You have the greatest tool, okay? So your story is not necessarily meant for you. I know that sounds funny. Your story is meant to help others, okay? It's not about you. Your story is so powerful, and it will move and change lives. But when we're sharing our story, a lot of times people think, oh man, I gotta like share it all. I have to share everything. It's not. In fact, the most important part of storytelling is sharing very small parts of your story, not giving it all away. Like, you don't have to disclose everything. Sharing very small parts of your story so that the person that needs to hear it, the ideal customer that you've created, they see your story, but yet they don't see you. They see how that story is their own life. You're not like this hero coming to save the day and coming in with your story of like, look at me, look how amazing I am, I've changed my life. No, it is, I've walked there. I've walked through that. I've been there. I remember what it felt like to be broken. And I'm just putting my hand out, and I'm saying, I'll walk with you through this because I've been there and I know a few things now. That is what it is. You're a guide in their story. And so you know what their pain points are, because you probably have felt those same pain points. The points, a pain point is, if I don't blank. So for me, when we first started sharing with Plexus, and I was terrified to share about the business, but my pain point was, if I don't share about Plexus, we will be on food stamps indefinitely. Like, we will be up to our eyeballs in debt for the rest of our lives. There's no getting out of this. That was my pain point. Speak to people's pain points. Because when I felt that pain of, man, like, I have to do something. If I don't share Plexus, I am going to stay right here. And this is too painful to stay right here. Then their pinnacle points, the pinnacle is, if I do this, this will happen. My pinnacle point was, if I share Plexus, I will be able to pay for my own groceries. I will be able to be debt-free. That was on my dream board for like 4 years, is being debt-free. That was my pinnacle point. That was the thing that I was working towards. And so this gap right here is what every day I worked for, every day. So guys, knowing who you're talking to, knowing your story, knowing their story, their pain points, their pinnacle points, and sometimes people don't think about what their pain point or their pinnacle point is. You have to ask them. So having these conversations with people of like, when they give you an objection of, it's too expensive, I just don't have the money right now. Well, let me tell you, that's the biggest pain point ever. If they don't have $100 to spend on their health, guys, that's a pain point. So talk to them about that. That's how we work through objections, is if there is an obstacle, that means there's a pain point, and uncovering that. So figuring out how they can get to this place. The last thing I'll just talk about is how do you show up and storytell in a way that affects people. Storytelling, you guys, it's an art. There are people, Kendra Hall has a book about storytelling. It's something you can learn, but I'm going to tell you, don't even worry about that right now. I want you just to show up, and I want you to show up with your face. I want you to show up vulnerable, and I want you to show up authentic. Okay. For most of it, that's where we need to start. And I'm right there with you. Stories on Facebook and on Instagram, TikTok, if that's going to stick around, Reels. I don't know if you've gotten into Reels yet. Reels on Instagram, it's a brand new thing that they've, since TikTok is going crazy over there, Instagram came out with Reels, and it's a 15-second clip that you can do. Let me tell you guys that Reels is like the next wave of how you're going to grow your audience. Instagram is favoring it like crazy. People are growing by like 5,000 and 10,000 people because they're going viral. Instagram's like putting all their stuff into Reels right now. So it's fun, but I want to encourage you, like whatever, if you're not to Reels yet, don't worry, I'm figuring it out. Whatever it is, take that next step. So if you look at yourself and think, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I showing up consistently? Am I showing up authentically? And rate yourself. And what I want you to do is to figure out, all I want you to do is move one number up, okay? I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go take a like Instagram course or Facebook course or whatever, like how to grow my network. No, I just want you to move up one number. So for me, what that means is, okay, I look at what I'm doing and I look at, okay, how can I show up more consistently and authentically? Because that's going to build the know, like, trust factor. That's going to put more people in my funnel and then bring them, you know, hopefully as I care for them well and post good content, bring them down into people who love the products and are sharing about them. So for me, I took a good look now this was in February, so I'm still working on this, took a good look at my social media. And I realized that I was hiding behind copy and pasted posts. I was hiding behind other people's testimonies. I was hiding behind photos. I could not find a video that I had done recently. I had not gone live in a very long time. And then my stories were mostly graphics, like, or photos. And I realized that I was hiding behind all of that because I didn't have to show, like I didn't have to go on live. I didn't have to show myself, or because there's social media messes with your mind, like, right? Like there are so many insecurities that I had and I still work through. But when I realized, man, I'm just hiding behind all this. This isn't authentic. This isn't fun. This isn't me. That I began to say, you know what? I'm just going to show up on my stories. I'm just going to point the camera towards me, because it's real easy to point the camera away from yourself and just video what's happening, which is what I was doing. And mainly it was my kids being cute, right? But it was never turned inward. And I went to this retreat with Susie, Simply Susie's, and she has this whole thing about, it's called Susie School. And she shared that people don't know you if your camera is always focused outward. People don't know you if you are not in video form. Mark Zuckerberg came out last year and said that in the next 5 years, 95% of all content is going to be through video. So that means, you know, there's already a barrier on social media of connection. But if we are not showing up face to face, people are not going to connect with us. So I go down the rabbit trail of, I, for 30 days, decided I was going to show up in my stories on my Instagram and Facebook with the camera pointed towards me every day for 30 days. And I was just either like, I mean, some of it was me talking about something that was going on. Some of it was just like silly. I mean, it doesn't have to be, there was all kinds of things. But what I realized at that point is that's me showing up authentically. That doesn't mean you, that doesn't mean, but that was me. That was my block, is because I always felt, oh my gosh, I got to put makeup on. I have to look decent, blah, blah, blah. And it's really easy to hide on social media. So I'm asking you to figure out what that looks like for yourself. What are you hiding behind? And what are you using as an excuse? For a long time, I used Instagram as an excuse. Like I was like, oh, I don't want to learn anything new. Facebook's working for me over here. Great. Um, but I really felt like at one point I need to just jump in and learn. And for probably a year, I just learned over on Instagram. And then my business kind of switched, and now it's mainly on Instagram. So I just want you to look at, okay, like this is not about shaming. This is not about like feeling bad on yourself. This is about where can you grow? Because social media is growing and changing and evolving with or without us. And if we want to have a business that is a legacy business, we have to continually be changing and evolving and meeting the people where they're at. So all of that is storytelling showing up in your stories. Okay, you can do lives, you can do live videos, you can do whatever that looks like to you, but I'm going to encourage you to show up on a video. I hate it. I hate it. It's like literally like something that I'm like finally getting to feel a little bit more natural. That was my biggest thing, was like, it was so hard for me. So that might be really easy for you. And maybe you showing up, maybe your storytelling, maybe you need to work at caption writing. That's my next thing that I'm working on, is caption writing. Story Brand by Donald Miller is mind-blowing amazing and can help you do that. I have another book, which I can find that, but it's all about copyright. How do you write words that are going to move people? Maybe it's your photos. Maybe your photos are really struggling, and that's your area of growth. So whatever it is, I want you to really look at how can you move your social media forward, okay? So that might be starting at the beginning and looking at, okay, I don't even know what my niche is. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what I even like. Thinking about those kinds of things, okay? So this is wide open. There is so much room for growth as you start looking at how can I move forward? Because the whole point of our social media is connection. It's not for an audience. It's not to see how many followers you can get. It is not about that. This is about building a community and connection. I don't care the number of followers you have. I care about the engagement. Are they truly engaged with you and connecting with you? And I think hopefully some of these things will help as you navigate that. But I am super excited to see just how this moves the needle forward for you, but also how it empowers you. Social media is not a one size fits all. And it should be so empowering that you have the freedom to build your social media platform in an authentic way. So stop looking to the left and the right of what's working for so-and-so and what's working for this person. But looking at, okay, who am I? Who am I created to be? Who am I speaking to? And how do I show up authentically? So I hope that helps, guys.